So I just saw Killers of the Flower Moon. This movie is another Martin Scorsese flick, and it's based off the novel by David Gran. Now, as someone who hasn't read the novel, but I did some digging, and I found that there were many changes that were made when adapting this New York Times bestseller onto the big screen. The movie's plot is relatively simple. It follows the Osage tribe as they become rich off oil in their land in the 1920s and 30s, while a family of greedy murderers start killing them off one by one to seize their assets. In the book, however, it follows an FBI agent that tries to solve these murders after they've already happened, trying to liberate the Osage tribe while birthing the FBI. The FBI protagonist in the book is relegated to a minor role towards the end of the film, played by Jesse Plemons. I actually really dig this change. I think seeing the film from the perspective of the tribe as it unfolds makes for a much more unique and personable experience. Not only that, but I'm gonna be real, I couldn't really give two shits about how the FBI was made. Y'all are constantly tracking my internet history and tapping my Discord calls. I don't want to dedicate my time to you. Anyways, back on topic, I think having Scorsese to helm this project was also a genius move, as he's already well known for doing well with mob gangster movies, which essentially this is. If you ask me, this movie is a shoo-in for the Oscars. Besides the obvious of having the film school kids quaking, this movie shows a very dark side to our history that isn't talked about very often. I'm very glad for this movie's existence, as it does a great job enlightening the audience, including me, on this tragedy, while also drawing parallels to today's society in an eerily frightening fashion. Most of the acting in this movie is also very good. Leo DiCaprio did a great job playing the neurotic, greedy Ernest Burkhart. While I think his character isn't the most interesting to follow, as his main motivation just stems from wanting money, I love that Leo was able to add depth to it. Seeing the conflicting emotions across every decision he makes is a joy that I wasn't expecting. I don't think it's good enough to win an Oscar, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was nominated. Lily Gladstone as Molly Burkhart was an unexpected bombshell. She is by far the best performance in the movie, despite being relegated to being a sickly woman in bed for most of the movie. It's crazy I've never heard of her until now, but she is incredible. I think out of the entire cast, she's the most likely to win an Oscar for sure. Then again, they snubbed Rhea Seehorn for Better Call Saul at the Emmys last year, so anything can really happen. Seriously, some of these award ceremonies feel like they're on crack. Robert De Niro did a great job as always. I mean, Scorsese has him in every film for good reason. Dude never misses. He plays his character with a suave and friendly nature that reminds me a lot of Anthony Starr's performance as Homelander in The Boys. Very calculating and menacing, but hidden under a lot of charisma that De Niro is very good at. The film is also shot with a lot of personality, much like Goodfellas and Wolf of Wall Street, the only other two Scorsese films I've watched. Listen, I'll get to the other ones, alright? There's just a lot. I love the quick cuts in the middle of long shots to show different character perspectives in a large room. It's very signature to his style, but I also gotta give credit to cinematographer Rodrigo Prieto for his brilliant work. I hope I pronounced that right. Probably not. The movie is 3.5 hours, but I honestly didn't mind. Sure, the first hour I'd say is the roughest to get through. If this movie were to improve, I think they could tighten up the beginning for sure, but most of the film after is very well paced, so you end up not really feeling the runtime by the end, which I give massive props for. In today's day and age where people have the attention span of a hummingbird, it's nice that movies are able to still succeed while this long. The set design is also beautiful, a lot of attention to detail with the time period, but I will say, some of the lighting in this movie was a little bit off. There were some scenes where it was very clear it was filmed at daytime, but they decided to just put a shitty dark filter over the setting to make it look like night, but I didn't buy it for a second. The cowboy hats they're wearing have a 3 o'clock shadow. You're not fooling me. It's a rather odd slip up, and while it only happens in a couple of scenes, it's still worth noting because these scenes were important. Another thing the movie had trouble with was, I mean, maybe I'm just dumb, but there were so many family members slash characters in this movie, a lot of which barely get an introduction before getting murdered. After like an hour into the movie, I finally recognized people, but before that, holy shit. I couldn't tell you how many times someone was getting killed on screen and I was like, wait, who was that guy again? And then afterwards, seeing the grieving people talking about it, I could piece it together and I'm like, oh yeah, Molly had a sister. Wait, but her sister's already dead in the earlier scene. Oh, maybe this was another sister? Stuff like that happened, and it was just annoying. Also, Brendan Fraser's short appearance was wild. I can't say he did an amazing job. He looked like he was acting in an entirely different movie. I like him as an actor, but he definitely misread what type of movie he was in. No hate, I'm only saying this because I know he can do better. Anyways, those are my thoughts on Killers of the Flower Moon, a surprisingly painless 3.5 hours with a solid story with poignant themes I wasn't expecting. Hope you guys check this one out, and I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10.